we'll be walking through her bio. She's going to do a mock audit on her bio. So I'll just bring this up. But just before we get into that, so I'm doing that so you guys know this is going to be very practical and hands-on. We're not just going to talk about it. We're actually going to do it. But just before we get into it, Gracie, your credentials when it comes to pageantry. So you were in the pageant industry. I say we never trust a pageant girl who says she's retired, but she's on a sabbatical at the moment. But you're former pageant girl, but you also do modeling. You do a lot of UGC. And I bring this up because social media is integral to all of those things, maybe even more so in modeling and certainly UGC. You need to know what you're doing with social. So do you want to give people just a bit of a background as to your social media expertise and how long you've been doing this for?
Absolutely. So I started pageantry when I was freshly 18 years old. I signed up for my first and only teen pageant, and I got bit by that pageant bug. I think we've all been there, where you do one and it's kind of an addiction, and you just keep going and going. I ended up being Miss Tennessee Earth 2 years in a row, won Miss Earth USA Eco. I've placed top 15 in pretty much almost every pageant I've ever done. And I've been able to do some really incredible things and meet incredible people and have incredible opportunities, not only because of my title, but because of what I was able to do with my title. And the reason I was able to do those things is because of my excellent branding skills. Branding is incredibly important because not only is it how you come across to people, but it's how you can reach new people. And luckily, I learned a bit about branding when I started my nonprofit when I was 12 years old. So I've had quite a while of experience in running a business and learning about speaking in public and posting on social media, etc. But as anyone knows who's first starting out at something, sometimes when you're learning to walk, you're a little wobbly. So it's been, over a decade of, trial and error. And the last 5 years is really when I've kicked it into gear. I started getting back into the modeling game. And there's a huge part on social media. People don't realize it. It's not just being a pretty face. It's not just being able to show up on time. It's, being able to have your portfolio on social media so that brands can find you and see what you look like in real time. Especially with UGC, user-generated content, for anyone who's new to that world. It's kind of like influencer content, but the brand usually buys the content from you. Um, that's integral. You need to have all the content, all the things. It needs to be high quality, it needs to be engaging, and most importantly, it needs to convert. For
Yeah.
brands, converting means sales, but for personal branding, that means follows, that means brand deals. And that's what we work on, especially when we're trying to figure out your goals when we're going through these audits is, what's your goal? Do you want more followers? Do you want more likes? Do you want more comments? Do you want more shares? Do you just want a prettier social media? What do you want people to know when they click on your profile? Do you want brand deals? How can we tailor this to you specifically, and what's going to help you the most?
That's a really important conversation to have, and we'll get into it. But I think you need to get very clear on what your goals are before you start working, because doing stuff just to get more followers is not the same necessarily as doing things to land brand deals. Is not the same as trying to actually market a product that you've got yourself. So we'll get into this. So this is Gracie's own profile. She's going to critique herself. Which I said she could critique mine, and we might get to that. But Gracie, do you want to take people through? Now, I don't remember when we first connected. I can't remember how many followers you were on. I know it was significantly less than that. So why don't you walk us through your auditing process? As you said, it's $49.
Mm-hmm.
People can book this in with you. Why don't you walk us through how you would do it for a client? So pretending, for example, you didn't know who this person was.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, when you do purchase an audit from an influentialist, you're going to get a video from us in return. And it's going to look similar to what you're seeing right now. Is you're going to see your own profile and you're going to have us going through it. You might see us circling some things, talking about it as we go along. So we're going to go through it together. That's what you're going to get. And we guarantee that you're going to get it within 72 hours. So you can be implementing these things pretty immediately. There's no use in hanging on to that forever.
Yeah.
Might as well, social media is a fast paced world, y'all. Um, so for me personally, I want to talk about some things that I optimize for my personal profile, and then talk about some things that we can improve, so that y'all can know. I just redid some of my profiles, so we should have done this a couple weeks ago, but it's okay. I'll tell you the little glow up things I did, and then this is what would have been in my audit. Um, so I chose to put my full name here, and a lot of people don't choose to do that, but there's a reason for it. So quick little backstory. Um, Everything that I've ever done under my nonprofit, everyone knows me as Gracie Pfaff. However, when I started modeling, all of my modeling agents told me no one's going to remember your last name because it's Pfaff. There's a silent P. It's weird.
No one can spell it.
No one can spell it. No one can say it. They said go by Gracie Sky instead, which is my middle name. So I decided to put my full name so that no matter if they Google Gracie Sky or Gracie Pfaff, my social media comes up. That is something to think about, as you want to be Googleable. You want to be able to be searchable in the Instagram tab. You need people to be able to find you, because how else are you going to be able to get followers, get reached in that way? Profile picture. I just changed my profile picture. Thank goodness. Mine before was bothering me. I wanted something that looked professional. I had this done at Miami Swim Week. I always tell, especially pageant women, have something professional, something maybe a little glam. Save the photos that are kind of like this cover. Here, I see a lot of girls doing this for Instagram. Save that for your TikTok or for your highlight covers. It's cute and all, but we want to see something a little bit more put together for that profile picture.
Right.
Then we're going through my bio here. Call me a go-getter's cute. Everyone does call me a go-getter. So there's that. Modeling creator. I do have a large following based on pageantry. So I probably shouldn't have taken out that I'm a pageant girl at heart. So maybe I'll be adding that back in. That's part of my audit today. We're critiquing.
Why don't you also walk people through, Gracie, the importance of the bio? Because I mean, you already alluded to the fact that social media is a very fast-paced world. And I just want to hone in on that, because if someone's interested in what you do, whether you're brand or pageant girl, they click on your bio, you have maybe 5 seconds, to capture their interest. And that might be the only time. Like if they don't like what they see, if they're not interested, they'll click off and you'll never be able to catch that person again. So why don't we just back up a little bit and talk about the importance of the bio? Because it is the very first thing you see. It's the first chance to make a first impression, and that first impression often lasts. So how important is a bio? Because I think a lot of people don't think about it. It's like, oh, cute highlights, cute photos. But hang on, your bio is a shambles.
Your bio is so important. I mean, I'm actually going to relate it back. I don't know how many of y'all watch reality TV, but if you think about your favorite reality TV stars, right? They captured your attention the first 5 seconds with their energy, right? Well, you don't have that same opportunity necessarily if someone's just coming across your page for the first time. So when someone clicks on your feed, this is the first indication of who you are, other than what you look like. So this gives people the opportunity to see what you're all about. Being influential is, having a life and having pieces about you that people want to follow, that people want to look up to. You say you're really into fashion and that people are always asking you where you get your outfits from, and you make content about that. That should be found here. If I see people who are, I've seen people in the past where they talk about how they're a makeup artist, but there's no makeup content on their entire social media. Take that out. That's really confusing. You got to be able to clarify and tell people basically, hey, when you follow me, here's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You're going to see a little bit of these things. Here's who I am in a nutshell. I only have a few characters to do it, but here's what you can expect from me.
Yeah. And then, so walk us through. So you start by looking at the bio. And I think a lot of pageant girls, a lot of us in general, not just pageant girls, a lot of pageant girls could do with a bio glow up. Because a lot of the time it's such precious real estate, isn't it? And you don't want to be wasting a single character if you can avoid it. So walk us through the process. So that's the importance of the bio. As I said, I think you only get like a few seconds to make an impact. And obviously yours is quite multifaceted, but I'm going to assume that I know this is strategic, right? You didn't just, what's listed in there is not just haphazard. There's a reason for everything, right?
Absolutely. So Call Me a Go-Getter I call that my hook. If you think about, the videos we watch on social media, everything that captures your attention has a hook. There's something in the beginning that makes you stop and say, oh, well, what does she mean? What is whatever? It's kind of like, hey, you can't live without this product. And, those are the ads that you're like, wait, why am I still watching this 30 seconds later? It's because they got you in those first couple seconds. So here's my hook. Call me a go-getter. Okay, well, how is she a go-getter? Okay, she's a model and creator. Super cool. She has a nonprofit. What does this nonprofit do? Because sometimes you don't want to always assume that people are going to click away, and you don't always want to get people to click away from your profile, because then they might not follow you. They might follow one of these, or they might follow none of it. You never know.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, she's ending hunger, one garden at a time. Coolio. And then she's the co-founder. Oh, this has marketing in it, and there's a phone. Okay, she's got a marketing company. Okay, that explains why she loves social media so much. Yeehaw. That's going through the bio, especially when I'm looking at a pageant girl social media specifically too. A lot of them, it's like paragraphs long. It's, they're using every single character they possibly can. They're tagging every single account they've ever used or ever will use. And it gets too busy, too complicated. We got to
One
break
reads
it
it.
up. We got to make it easy to read.
Mm.
That's why I like, some people say, don't use the emojis thing. I like to separate mine out with emojis because you know exactly what you're looking at when you're looking at each of these things, and it's categorized out. It's personally worked for me, but I'm also going to look at everyone's profile and say, you know what, that might not fit that person's personality. Here's what I would recommend instead. Um, and if you work with our audit, or if you want to upgrade to our viral rain social media coaching program, we actually put together mocks of what your ideal feed would look like. We create
Okay.
a bio for you. We are choosing your new profile picture. We design your new highlight covers for you. All of that. So if you want to take the guessing out of it, you can of course do coaching, but this audit really gets it started so you can start thinking about these things yourself, and you can start making those tweaks and start seeing results immediately.
Yeah, I love the way you've planned that out, because I just in our broadcast channel, I was just asking if anyone had social, like what's working in social media, what's not, and someone literally replied like she has no idea. She's just gotten to Instagram, her pageant Instagram, and she has no idea where to start. I think she literally said it's a shambles, and I think when you're starting like that, it's not to be mean on her. She said this. It's like it can be very overwhelming when you don't know where to begin, and maybe you haven't lived in social media your entire life. You just don't know where to begin, and then you see someone's profile. I mean, like yourself or any other pageant girl, and you go, "Oh my god! Like she did this, she did this. She's got photos at Swim Week. She's got modeling shoots. Like, how can I compete with that?" So I think the audit is a really good place to start. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. I would recommend anyone start with the audit, because then you can kind of see, there's a chance I could tell you, hey, you're doing really great, but
Hmm.
here's one thing I would tweak. It's like you might not need a lot more. You might not need as much as you think you do, but it might just be one thing that a professional
Yeah.
eye sees that you might not be able to, that could totally flip the switch. So it never hurts to just start with the audit, start small. You can also add on content ideas if that's like something you run out of, because I know sometimes we go through these spells where it's like, oh my God, if I have to think of one more thing, my brain's going to explode. And I get it.
I have been there.
Yeah, like, we're here to uplift women. I always say a rising tide lifts all boats. So, like, we're here to fulfill the needs of pageant women. And, like, we're always here too. Like, pageant girls, if you're watching this and you're like, you know what, here's a need, and I don't know if you guys have this, like, reach out to us. Give us what you need. Tell us what you're looking for,
I
because
think also you're really fast at responding. So if someone DMs you, you're likely to get a response maybe within 5 minutes. Unlike some other companies where you message and you're into the ether. I know you put up that meme about people who are fast messaging and whatnot. Um, but I
Adrian, I
I
need you
love.
a break because you have a major time difference. But
I don't.
everyone else has to respond immediately.
I do love the way that you've structured the bio. I use something very different. So I like to call them bullet points.
Hmm.
I have seen some people do paragraphs, and that's fine. I think particularly if you're maybe not more professional, but maybe male centric, and maybe males are turned off by seeing all the shiny emojis. But if we're focusing on mainly like pageant girls or women centric business, and me with my ADHD brain, I love bullet points. It's like bullet points gives my brain structure. You give me a paragraph, and immediately my brain goes, "Do I really want to read this? Probably not." And then I'm gone. Talk to me also, talk to the audience also about the link that you've got in your bio, because we talk about the bio being very precious real estate. And then the link in your bio used to be, anyway, the only clickable link in all of Instagram. Now that's a bit different. You can put more
I
than one
know,
link.
now you can have multiple. That's such a beautiful thing.
So
Um,
walk us through, like, how do you choose what to put in there? Because I've got people who will put a LinkedIn bio, and then it's like in their LinkedIn bio page, it's 30 Amazon products. And then it's like, what am I doing here? So how do you use the links?
so here's how I use the links. I have a donation link to my nonprofit. I have my modeling portfolio site. I have a brand deal code, which I actually can take off. That's my contract's up. I don't have to keep that up there. But you know what? Maybe people still want the $250 off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, we're auditing me here. I'm not afraid to say, Gracie, let's clean these out. And then I have a link to an Amazon storefront, as I went viral a while back for being allergic to aluminum. So I have a link to aluminum free makeup because I kept getting DMs from people about how their makeup was bothering their eyes, and they think maybe because it has so many heavy metals in it. So I have a link to that there, which again is an old link, and I probably could take out because no one's asked me about that in a hot minute. So,
Right.
but we're auditing. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it. We can. So Gracie can clear out at least 2 links, and maybe change out this one to an updated link. But at least like GracieSky.com is always going to come first for me because I have a portfolio. That's where my job goes. That's where brands automatically go when they want to book me. So for example, if you're a pageant girl and say that like you're signed up for a state pageant and you don't have a website with your name on it. I mean, I always say that everyone should have one just in case. But say your state pageant posted your headshot with your bio and your local title. Maybe put the link to that here, so people know what to expect from you or be able to get excited about you competing. Or
Yeah.
maybe say you were on the news, clip the news segment,
Mm.
put it up here.
Yep.
Something that makes people excited about you competing. That's something shows a little bit of who you are outside of social media, is always a good thing.
So we've done the bio, and now I guess we just go in chronological order, so to speak. So next thing is the highlights. That's something that I really don't use nearly as much as I should. But walk us through the highlights.
So highlights, this is definitely where I'm going to audit myself here. Definitely have too many. I always tell people you don't need that many highlights, but sometimes highlights are fun, and I'm not going to be as strict on highlights. Highlights are not going to, inhibit your growth massively on social media. It's just if you want to clean up your socials a little bit, make it a bit more professional, elegant, etc., we recommend, dialing it back a little bit. But for example, I would probably either, get rid of my model life highlight, since I have, Miami Swim Week 2025, New York Fashion Week 2024, Miami Swim Week
Okay.
2024. I have these individual modeling things. I would
Yeah.
either create a different one or combine it all into this one.
Sure.
Like we've got a little bit of duality going on here, and
Yeah.
we could probably condense it. And then we scroll back here for pageantry. So there's just a few too many. Ideally, you don't want people to have to scroll.
Yeah.
You want it all kind of condensed because people, ideally, they don't want to spend that much time on your profile. We would love if people wanted to spend hours on our Instagram, but they just don't. No one has the
Yeah.
time for that.
Yeah.
And we want the covers to, I try to keep my covers actually pretty aesthetic. You can see they kind of all have a little bit of a theme. All the colors tie into each other a little bit. And they all kind of tie into the profile as well. All my photos are very cohesive, and I think that's something that a lot of people overlook. I don't really like to do the whole here's a purple photo with a icon over it. That's not my personal taste, but some people, they have very clean, minimalistic feeds, and it looks really, really great to have that there. I really just
Right.
like mine to be photos and little snapshots, so it just kind of looks like little stories that are almost like they're still active. But
Yeah.
it's really up to the person, and I might just look at the feed and give my recommendation and say, hey, here's what I think would, if I was looking at your Instagram, I would expect your aesthetic to be. So here's what I would recommend, because this is what people are probably naturally assuming about you and your profile. Now, if this is wrong, we should maybe discuss a little bit of a rebrand.
Yeah.
But if not, if it is, a little bit on track, here's what I would do.
I think part of that also is social media. You never know. It's not black and white. I mean, part of it is science, but a lot of it's art as well.
Yeah.
And so I think you need to give yourself some grace to try something different just to see how it goes. Because we always talk about the algorithm and, oh, my photos aren't working, so now I've got to do reels. Or no, reels aren't working, I've got to do carousels. And I think it's not just what is working now. I think you always want to be trying a few different things so you don't get stuck. I think that helps with the creativity as well. And so highlights, I think, would fit into that neatly. I certainly haven't used them nearly as much as you have. But give it a go, and if it works, great. Do more of it. If it doesn't work, great. You've tried it. You've learned something, so you don't have to do it anymore.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, next, if I don't currently have any pinned posts, but if there were pinned posts here, that's what I would be looking at next. Since that would be at the very top of people's feed. I want to know why those are pinned. I'm going to look at those and I'm going to say, okay, only posts that are pinned should be stuff that's like super on brand for you, that's going to show, hey, this is who I am. This is the type of content you can expect from me. I think a lot of people tend to just pin their most viral video, and I think that is great to a degree, but like if you're pinning 3 things, make one of them your most viral and then make the other 2 things that are most like your other content,
Yeah.
so that you see on average what you're going to get. It just makes it a more streamlined process for people, and people can kind of be like, okay, well, I really only like the viral video and she's only posted one of these and I don't really like this other content, so I'm not going to follow her. Or the vice versa of, I came here because of this viral video and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but this other content's really cute actually. So I actually am going to give her a follow. I'm going to give her a break on that viral one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I have recently sort of been auditing my own social media and taking it a bit more seriously, so to speak. And I pinned a post that went viral, but then the other 2 were more educational posts, obviously me being the Pageant project and doing some coaching and stuff like that. And that was actually recommended to me through AI of all things. But it suggested that it should be similar to what you said, that the pinned posts should sort of represent you, as much as we said about the biography at the top, and that should represent you, and then the highlights. I think the pin post is also a really big opportunity to sort of explain who you are in a nutshell. And so I do think you want to give some thought as to what goes there, and not just necessarily the most viral things, because sometimes you go viral for silly things and you don't necessarily want to be known for them.
Oh, for sure. Yes, because it's always the wrong video that goes viral. I know that from experience. So if I'm looking at my feed, here's what I would naturally assume. Okay, I'd be like, okay, she has a collaborative post. Okay, that's Clover, that's Gracie. Oh, she did a funny video. She did a collab. That's cute. And people seem to like it. And then, she did, okay, so she did a salon, transition. That's fantastic. Oh, another.
So not taking herself too seriously. There's humor involved,
Yeah,
obviously.
I think, okay, we've got some professional, we've got some beach, we've got some soft vibes,
Mm-hmm.
we've got some more humor, we've got some influencing going on. She's, doing a
Yeah.
Insta-worthy dinner in Miami. This looks like maybe another brand deal. I know because it is. And
Yeah.
oh, there's 2 more funny things, and then oh, more professional. Here's some more modeling. Oh, she's vegan. That's fun. We learned something new about this girl. And so we're looking at things like this. Like, what personality traits are we picking up on? Are you showing your personality is a huge one. I feel like as pageant girls specifically, a lot of us tend to hide our personalities on social media. We're not posting funny videos. We're not posting bloopers. We're not posting, the photos where we don't, look our absolute 10 out of 10 best. But social media not only is supposed to be useful and productive, but it's also supposed to be fun. And you have to remember that at the end of the day, it's a social network. It's about connecting with people. There's other people on the other end of it. It's not just numbers. I think we get caught up in, well, how many likes did I get? How many
Yeah.
follows did I get? But there's another person on the other side of that who's going, wait, this person seems really cool. And we should be
Yeah.
thinking about that when we're posting. I don't think you need to put so much weight in it that it's, that can become debilitating at times. But,
Yeah.
um, I didn't even start posting funny content till I was out of pageantry. And that's something I really wish I had done differently. Except, well, when I was on my way out of pageantry, one of my last 2 pageants, I posted a blooper reel of making some of my videos for my national pageant. And that was really funny. I actually had a ton of people that were like, Oh my gosh, that's great. And then we were posting about a
That
sponsor.
that post where you were trying to put something together and then
Yeah,
you hammered it and then it fell over and then you looked at the camera and Clover goes, "I'm so glad I captured this." See, I remember that, and that was like what, 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yep.
I don't remember the other posts. I remember that one, the blooper one.
And then there was another one where I don't even remember now, but there's a couple, and there I did there's one that some girl, it wasn't a blooper, but it was for, I was on an exercise bike, and I just set up my camera on an exercise bike, and I was wearing my waist trainer and my thigh bands preparing for the pageant, and I was just like, this is me showing up today. Here's me, getting healthy and taking care of my body today. This is what it looks like. Like, it wasn't glamorous, it was legit. And then I had a girl at the pageant, she goes, "Oh my gosh, are you the one who was on the bike with your waist trainer on?" And I was like, "Yep, that was me." And it's like, when you show up and are a real human on social media,
Yeah.
you're not just this pillar of perfection, people relate to you a lot more, and your numbers start to project that. If you look at my reels, um, this is one of my most viewed reels. I'm sitting on a bed eating a burger, talking about my aluminum allergy and how I can't touch the wrapper of the burger. Like, it's real things and real people, that performs well. It's not absolute perfection. If you look at some of my other, like, if you look at some super aesthetic content, like some of it, like these are literally professional photos and videos, 1,700 views. Sitting on a bed eating a
Funny,
burger,
isn't it?
almost half
Yeah.
a million. So I mean, that's just what we're looking for is, do you seem like a human? Do you have a good mixture between personality, professionality? Um, I always say that there, especially for pageant women, there should be three pillars of um, content. I need to see a little bit of your personality. I need to see a little bit of professionalism, and I need to see a little bit of, that other category. Like, do you like to volunteer? What are some of your hobbies? Do you like to travel, etc.? Um, and that's really what we're looking for, is that it's not just, photo on stage, photo in a gown, photo in a swimsuit, photo in an interview outfit, photo at a
Yeah,
wedding.
I do. I make a joke about pageant girls. Their posts, like every post, is like a photo in a pretty gown or in a bikini with a completely unrelated caption underneath. That's like an inspo quote. She believed she could, so she did. I'm like, yeah. Oh, and so let me ask you this, Gracie. So if we're taking it back to people who are more beginners on social, obviously you've got a lot of experience and your personal profile is doing very well. But there are so many little things that need to come together, right? So we talked about at the beginning, you got your bio, you got your links, you got your highlights. That's after the discussion about brand, like, and what do you actually want to achieve in the first place. And then
Mhm.
I think someone looking at your feed could very easily be overwhelmed because they go, well, she's a model, she's got these professional shoots. Now she wants me to show personality, but like, I don't know how much structure do I need to go? Like, do I need to post a personality photo now a professional one? So how much thought do I have to do? How do I schedule it? And so I think they can very quickly look at this and go, oh, this is too hard. I'm just going to, and then they don't post. And then they go, oh my God, I need to post. And they just start posting randomly. Then it doesn't work. And then they go, oh my God, my social media is so bad. And so they get into this almost a flywheel, vicious cycle, just being overwhelmed. What can you guys do? So influencers, yourself and your mom, how would you help someone like that who's like, I don't know where to start. All of this sounds good, but you want me to professional this, show personality that. I don't even know what my personality is. What should I show? And she did a video eating a burger. Are you saying I could do a video eating burgers because that did really well? Do you know what I mean? Like, people can get fixated on like some of the minor things, but they don't know where to start. So for someone like that, because there's a lot of them out there, where would the conversation start with you and someone like that?
Oh, 1,000%. I totally get that. I'm an overthinker myself, so I understand nitpicking. Actually, when you go to fill out for the audit, we have a little questionnaire there, and it asks some basic questions of, talking about what your goals are through social media. And we can kind of use our little marketing brains to kind of pick through and kind of decode the little message behind the words of, here's what your social media would ideally look like. Um, and really, it's just about working with what you have access to. Another thing that we look at when we're doing these audits is the quality of your content. So say that your quality is really struggling. Um, we're going to give you a couple tips on that. We might say, like, hey, girl, you need to clean your camera before you hit record. And it might just be something that simple that's like, oh, or hey, you need to order a light off of Amazon
Yeah.
to, make your lighting a little bit better. It's going to completely change the quality of your content, and it's going to upload way nicer. It's going to look way better, and it's going to just look 10 times more professional,
Mm.
because honestly the difference between well lit content and unlit content is like that professionality we're looking for. It's not necessarily like you have to go book a photo shoot. It's just that it needs to not look like it was like taken on a microwave.
It also doesn't need to cost a lot in this day and age. I've got 3 lights in front of me, and a ring light used to cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Now you can get them for 20, $30.
Yeah, I have one on my laptop right now, and it was, I mean, I these are so cheap, and I accidentally keep leaving them in hotel rooms all across the US. I just keep like giving them to hotels for free at this point. It's like I'm their little personal UGC fairy of like, hey, take content of your hotel. Here's everything you need. A light for the stay. Thank you.
I think
Like,
if we're thinking of businesses that need some UGC help, I'm going to put hotels at the top of that list after my time over in America. I'm going to put the link below this video wherever you guys are watching it, so you can book in for an audit with Gracie. Because I think the other thing is people might look at this and go, "Oh yeah, I'll think about it." Most of the pageant community puts so much time and effort into their social media, and I just think it's silly to do that work and not have it pointed in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like
right.
3 months from now, you've put in all this work into your social media. You spent hundreds of hours potentially creating it. And then you go, hang on, it was all in the wrong direction. Or I got this wrong. Or if only I'd done that, then it would have done so much better. And so I think it's really good to have a conversation with someone such as yourself at the beginning or as early as possible. It's like that adage is like, when was the best time to start? Yesterday. When's the next best time to start? Now. And I think that really applies in this case because we put so much work sometimes into it, and then we get really deflated when it doesn't work. I mean, I know that. I'm sure you can relate to that as well, right? It's not like everything you post pops off and goes viral.
Not at all. Like, and social media is so volatile. Some things you could post the same video twice, and there's a good chance that one of them could go viral and the other one could get like 5 views. Like it's a guessing game sometimes, and that's okay. But there is strategy behind it, and so when you can be pointed in the right direction and have that sense of security of, okay, I feel a little bit more confident in being able to
Yeah.
push out content. It's completely game changing because you're not sitting there overthinking every little thing that you're going to post. You can just get it done.
Yeah. Well, you know that there's a strategy behind it, so you don't have to panic when one thing doesn't necessarily pop off. I did see a quote. I did see a quote the other day, which I thought was very interesting. It's a guy in the business world, and he said, "My viral content never impacted lives, but the ones that impacted lives got almost no virality." It's really interesting. He had a post about work-life balance. It went viral on LinkedIn, but he said no one ever messaged him about that. But on the other hand, he messaged something about him dealing with anxiety or mental health, and that didn't go viral at all. That every day he gets messaged about that. And I think that ties in very neatly with what you said. It's not just about virality and how many people you reached. I think sometimes we forget social media is not only a person on the other side, but it's a chance to actually make a difference. Like
Absolutely.
I'm sure this has happened for you, but I got a message the other day that said, "I love your content. This is so needed. You make such an impact. I only wish her daughter, who's in pageantry, I only wish my daughter had connected with you earlier." And okay, that post didn't get as many views as my Zodiac post with pageant girls, which was just a silly one. But it's funny, people connect on one thing, and it's really a chance to make an impact, isn't it? It's not just posting to fill up your feed. It's actually a chance for you to market, brand, and connect with people.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was posting about my aluminum allergy all the time, I mean, I was helping people get their child potentially diagnosed with an aluminum allergy, which is an
Mm.
incredibly serious allergy if you don't get it taken care of. I didn't find out about mine until I was 17. So it's like I'm talking with, young moms in my DMs about early signs of
Yeah.
allergies in children that I didn't know about. I'm also talking about